Hello, hello. Good to be here. My name is Darin Eich, and before we get started, maybe think about a challenge in your mind, something that you would like ideas for, maybe to build. And this is going to be choose your own adventure style. Here is choice A. It's the eagle-eye view of my presentation, the 1,000-foot view. And it's choice A. Choice A for you. Reminds me of Friday growing up in Preston, Minnesota, when the weekly reader would come and we'd get the choose your own adventure books with that as well. But this is choice B. How many people here would rather see choice B for the presentation today than A? All right, good, because it's locked and loaded, so there was really no option for choice A. So you like this probably because it's visual, probably because you might see some stories behind that. So whenever I'm communicating an idea, I think about communicating it with simple Sam V. What are the stories to share? Are there analogies and metaphors to use to relate? And are there visuals to show to help people get it, become engaged with this idea? Because change is happening all around us. Either we're responding to the change or we're driving the change. That is why we need these new ideas. So a good story to tell is if you have the story of your idea, make sure you keep on the roots and the dirt so people can see where it's coming from. So where is this stuff coming from that I'm talking about today? Well, I was facilitating a leadership retreat at UW during my Ph.D. program in the School of Ed, and I met Anand Chatpar up there. He had a vision to connect the idea generators of the world with the idea implementers. So we ended up creating this company called Brain Reactions, where we recruited, assessed, trained the most creative students at UW, and then connected them to do innovation projects for companies like Procter & Gamble, the UN, the Council on Competitiveness, and then later did this thing called Innovation Trip, where we brought executives to Boston, to Harvard, to MIT, flew them to Silicon Valley, to Stanford, to Ideal, to show them the best of American innovation firsthand. So that's what I'm into now, is how do we teach people innovation and facilitate them through doing it, and they learn it by doing it. Well, we want to help you come up with a breakthrough idea, something that will help you. And man, I had this LASIK eye surgery done. Wow, completely disrupted my need for contact lenses and for glasses. What if you could come up with an idea like that that was disruptive, that was breakthrough? You need to come up with a lot of ideas. I love this. Ways to be cool, like a high schooler. I wanted to be cool in high school. It never happened. I should have done this brainstorm. Motorcycles, wear cologne, move to Williamsburg, learn to speak European, grow facial hair. These are great ideas. And that's how it should be done, a whole list of ideas. Here are my tips. First of all, capture all of your ideas like that person did. 2, go for quantity. Come up with 100 ideas. Use questions. The more questions, the better the ideas. Don't judge your ideas. That person obviously didn't. And finally, use these things known as idea generation tools, right? It's like looking at your problem through a different set of lenses. It's like using a Swiss Army knife. Don't just stop when you have a few ideas. Keep going. Don't rely on chance. Your best ideas may not come during the shower, on the drive, or in your meeting. So I was in Austin, Texas recently for this thing called South by Southwest, and they had the Circus Mashimus Gallery. And it's about mashed up concepts, like the spork, when the fork married the spoon, right? And there were some other brilliant ones there, like the El Camino, and you know what that is a marriage of. The car and the truck, or the mermaid. So there are mashups happening all around. A lot of good ideas become mashups. You even see them in literature. Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice with zombies, right, mashed in there. Songs that are 2 artists together. Web apps that are the mashup of this bus schedule app and this iPhone app, for example. So what can you mash up when you're coming up with ideas? Maybe it's a service learning, a mashup of a community service project with your course. Maybe it's a mashup of a mobile device with how you're marketing your program. Maybe it's a mashup of YouTube and how you communicate your program. But what are mashups you can do? So let's say we've come up with a lot of ideas. We have that long list of ways to be cool ourselves. And we now need to analyze these ideas. I don't know if anybody has ever picked up one of these in the woods, but I advise not, because this used to be a mouse. You see, an owl finds a mouse and eats it for dinner. And what he does is he takes the whole mouse in, and the owl will only keep what he needs. That's the good meat of the mouse. And he'll spit out everything he doesn't need into a ball of fur and bones. That was what you saw, an owl pellet. So you need to go about analyzing your ideas because you have so many of them that you didn't judge. There aren't good ones in there. You need to analyze them like the owl, where you quickly go through and highlight the meat, the ones you want to work with, such as, I like learn to speak European, learn to play guitar, become a band photographer, online friendships, make your own movie, and hang out with Steve. Those are my favorite ideas that this student came up with on ways to be cool. And then what you do next is these ideas are like raw materials. They're like trees. You need lumber to make a good cabinet, right? So you take one of the ideas you like and you let it branch out. Like I like make your own movie, and I'm even going to mash up into that. How about make a documentary about Steve? How about share the movie on Facebook with my friends online? Or how about learn guitar from the band? So to get a breakthrough idea, it isn't one inventor in the garage just getting it. It's a process of building a lot of ideas, mashing them together, going through stages, iterating, developing to get there. That is how you get a breakthrough idea. When we would do our projects for clients, we would generate sometimes 1,000 different ideas for new products or ways to communicate things. But the key is the analysis process, the building from there. And most importantly, you got to communicate like Simple Sam V. You may have already come up with a brilliant idea, but nobody gets it. Nobody understands it. Nobody wants to collaborate because you haven't communicated in a way that sticks with them. Those stories, analogies, metaphors, and visuals. And we need to communicate these innovations and ideas we have in an ancient and modern way, right? We've been telling stories around the fire for thousands of years. So communicate your idea much like you're sitting around the fire with your grandma or with a high school student. Communicate it simply so that they get it and become engaged with it. Thank you.